Here we go. All right. Welcome to our live chat today. I'm doing it a little bit different. I'm doing a targeted discussion, if you will, about homeschooling for the future and how we can prepare ourselves. I feel like I could talk about this every day for months and we still wouldn't be able to cover all of the content because the future is changing rapidly. Homeschooling is changing rapidly. Education is changing rapidly. Our world is changing rapidly. And how can we stay on top of it? How can we prepare our kids for a tomorrow that we can't possibly predict at this point? I think that's something that's on all of our hearts, on all of our minds. And so we're going to get into it. We're going to have a conversation. If you are new to our page, new to our app, new to our YouTube, my name is Rebecca Spooner. I'm a homeschool mom of 5 children, not so young anymore. My oldest has already graduated, was homeschooled all the way through. I myself was homeschooled, and so I am a passionate advocate of homeschooling. I believe that it is the number one thing that prepared me for what the Lord had for me, and I believe that it is the number one thing that you can do to prepare your kids for what God has for them. And so I believe in homeschooling. I believe in home education. I can stand here today telling you that I'm sure someone out there will disagree, but I don't think that I turned out weird. I feel like this is the number one thing people are worried about with homeschooling. And so I get to be a testimony, a living, breathing testimony of homeschooling in my own life, but also as someone who has homeschooled my children now all the way through. And I still have 4 others that are in the finishing leg of the race. So my youngest is turning 12, you guys, 12 years old. I'm like past even elementary ages. How does that happen? All right. So as you guys are coming in, we'd love to hear where you're joining from. We'd love to hear an ongoing conversation. What does homeschooling look like for you? How do you prepare for the future of homeschooling? And if you want to, how old your kids are, how long you've been homeschooling. I mean, this is a conversation, guys. That's what makes it so fun. So get on in that conversation and let's just see where this goes today. We're going to start off with a little bit of news. Our company is Gather Round Homeschool. We make homeschool curriculum that is unit study and approach, which means that you don't have to do all your different subjects with all your different kids, with all their different grades and with all their different interests. You get to follow their interests and incorporate all of their school into that 4K through grade 12. I know it sounds crazy. I thought so too. I was like, God, I feel like this is impossible. How am I going to get my 5-year-olds and my 16-year-olds to all be on the same page? Turns out that he had an idea that was incredible. And so Gather Round Homeschool is a blend of a whole bunch of different homeschool styles and approaches, and it's very unique, and it is definitely led by the Holy Spirit. And so we are passionate. We're passionate about the kingdom. We're passionate about God, and we are passionate about education. It's a little summary of who we are. And we have some news. So as the founder of this curriculum, I get to come on here and I get to have a conversation with you guys and share some of the different things that are happening behind the scenes with our company. And so I'm going to give you just a little bit of an update. First of all, we have launches happening all the time. This is one of the best parts about Gather Round is it's like Christmas. I get bored with doing the same curriculum, reading the same books over and over again. And so I love that there's something new all the time for me to look forward to. So we have launched in the last month, Delaware. It's a 1-week mini unit that's a part of our 50 state series. We have also just recently launched Florida. Georgia is the next one. We are going alphabetically, but Georgia is actually, we're just taking a pause, just a little breather. Because we got Christmas, we got Thanksgiving, we've got stuff happening, you guys. And so we're focusing a little bit over on our math series, and we are taking a 2-week break for 50 states. So Georgia is going to be coming out mid-December if you want to keep your eyes open for it, but it is coming, and we are motoring through these 50 states. At the same time, we are working on math. We are creating math. Modular Math is a brand new math curriculum that's designed for kindergarten all the way through grade 9. So it's going to hit a lot of your basics and then really the foundation of mathematics in a very simple, open and go, non-overwhelming way and bringing God into everything. And so we have been working on it for the past year with a group of beta testers, and we are now officially launching it to the public. So we have now launched Number Sense, which is available, the first unit, and it's designed designed to be done in about a month, or you can do multiple steps to kind of fill gaps and catch your kids up. And then we've also launched addition, and subtraction is going to be coming, I believe, December 8th-ish. So you're going to want to keep your eyes open for that launch. And those are going to be continuing every 5 weeks. So as you finish one, basically you'll get ready and there's going to be another one coming. It's every 5 or 6 weeks. I actually don't remember the exact launch schedule, but my team does. Okay. Another quick update in case you guys missed it is that we had something that we sold on our site a little bit ago that we called the Legacy Pass. And that was this idea that I felt like was from the Lord, something I said I would never do. Little tip. Never say never. My husband always says that. I said I would never do it, but where we offer digital of everything we've ever created and everything we ever will create from Gather Around Homeschool, we offered it all for one crazy low price that you'll never have to pay again. And so we did make that available in October, and we had some really disappointed people who felt like they couldn't swing it. It was, too short. They weren't in a position with Christmas around the corner. And so we've decided to give you guys lots of warning and let you know that we are going to be opening it up again March 17th and 18th. So I want you guys to mark your calendars for that. I'm hoping that will kind of coincide with tax return season and take some of the weight off for some of you guys, but just make sure you are aware. And the last thing I'll say about news before I'm going to go into our topic today is to make sure to get your orders in, because we do have some warehouse closures. So if you're looking for print, we are going to be closing down our warehouse the first week of December. And we are also closing down our warehouse through Christmas and New Year's. So if you are needing print and you want that prioritized, get it in sooner rather than later so we can make sure that we get your print order out to you before some of those holiday closures. And and we are now open for print orders. For those of you who are in Canada or other countries, go to gatheraroundhomeschool.com. We have recently found a way, it's called a new thing that's been opened up called Managed Markets, where basically a company is kind of working together with us to help figure out all of the brokerage fees and everything else. So you guys can see it up front. So there's no shock factor when something shows up at your door with a huge bill attached to it. So go check it out. I'm not saying it's all going to be reasonable. I'm not the one setting those prices. These are our current brokerage fees and border fees and duties and whatever else everything is. But it is at least an option for you guys. So go and check out our website. If you have previously been unable to order print, you might be able to order it now. All right, Christmas school is starting soon. If you guys didn't know, we have an online academy where we do school together with your students. It is live. It is engaging. Your kids are going to be able to be a part of an online community of other students, other families who share your values. We have challenges. We have events. It's just a really great way of motivating and staying on track. It's available in 3 different frequencies. So you can join 1 day a week, 2 days a week, or all of your lessons 4 days a week. And we are really excited about Christmas school because we have a different team member that's actually going to be joining. The kids got to meet her today, and we are going to be just having a ton of fun with that unit. So if you're needing a break, if you are tired, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you just don't have a plan for December yet, or maybe you were looking at doing one of our Christmas units, but you just feel daunted by the fact of trying to fit that in on top of everything else, let us help you. Let us help you, help us help you. Okay. So our Christmas unit we're doing is the first Christmas. We do have 3 Christmas units. There's going to be read alouds. There's going to be a pajama day. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be baking. I mean, we have so many different things planned. It's going to be a ton of fun. And all you have to do is press play. That's right. That's it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys. And I do think that this unit is going to be incredible. I think it's going to give all the glory to Jesus and is just going to be a great way of just breathing, resetting, and recalibrating before you go back to school in January. All right, you guys ready for our topic of conversation today? I have had coffee this afternoon. That's why I'm talking so fast. I was literally researching how to purge coffee and caffeine out of your system. Turns out once the caffeine's in there, you just got to wait about 10 hours for it to get out. So if I don't sleep tonight, this is why. Okay, homeschooling for the future. Let's talk about it. And you guys, seriously, join on in the comments because this isn't just a me conversation, okay? This is an all of us conversation. I'm switching over to my chat over here so I can see your guys' comments. I'm seeing your comments here on Facebook and on YouTube, and I'm going to be interacting a little bit as we go. My first point, the landscape of homeschooling is changing dramatically. I mean, dramatically. You guys are seeing it. The landscape of education, the landscape of our entire world is changing dramatically. I feel like we can see this no matter which direction we look. And while it's easy to try to compartmentalize homeschooling into its own little corner of the world and of the internet, the reality is that when we are homeschool families, everything that is happening in the world has an impact on us in homeschooling, on the way that we do things, on how we want to educate, on what we want to educate. And so things are just changing rapidly. And it seems a little bit difficult. I don't know if anyone else is feeling this way, but to keep up with it right now. I mean, sometimes it feels like we are running on a hamster wheel, just trying to keep up with the changes. And there is new things flying at us from left and right every single day. You guys, I see this. I mean, I would say the number one change that has happened is AI. AI is changing everything. Now, I am one of the people, okay, I'm not afraid of AI. I see great harm that could come from it. I see the cons. I see the pros. But regardless of how you might feel about it, just put that aside for a second. And let's just state the fact, it's not going anywhere. At this point, it's not going anywhere. So as homeschool families, we have our emotional response to how we feel about it. But the reality is that we are going to have to try to find a way to navigate through this. We are going to have to try to find a way. And we don't just have to find a way to navigate through it right now, to teach our kids about it right now, but we have to think about how AI is changing the entire future of not just education, but of industries and of careers and of our changing landscape of our world, so that we can be preparing our kids, because that's ultimately what we want to do when we're homeschooling them. We want to prepare them for where God has them to land. We want to prepare them for their careers and for their opportunities and for the life that is in front of them. And that's really difficult to do when AI is moving at rapid pace and we don't actually know where everything is going. I was talking with Jonathan about this the other day, and we were talking about the changing face of how AI is going to affect different careers and different industries. I was thinking, I don't know if anyone has ever seen some of those doctor shows where, you know, you're watching a doctor diagnose something. And so they're digging through medical journals and they're looking online and seeing all of the latest studies and this one, you know, crazy whatever experimental thing that happened in this other country that worked for this one person, and maybe it will work in this one circumstance. We're really talking about information. We're talking about finding and digging through mass amounts of information to find something that would be applicable for this very specific use case. So we are training people through years and years and years of very expensive education to be able to know all this information so that they can try to apply things for individual use cases. And literally overnight, that process is going to be able to be replaced by AI. I mean, it has all the information. It has all of the recent updates. It has all of the recent studies that are being done and all of the recent tests and experimental everything. And all we have to do is find a way to assimilate that information and to apply it to a specific use case. Things are changing. What about in the world of, in the world of education? I don't know if you guys have seen, but there are AI schools popping up. I mean, really, why do we need to go to a teacher to have information parsed out to us when we can find the exact information that we need for this exact use case or this exact topic, all put together in a way that is easy for us to understand and is partitioned out? Information is changing. The way we get information is changing, which leads to believe, why do we need to have a specific person that knows information where a lot of it is outdated when we can just have it at our fingertips? You guys, we've seen this coming. It's been coming ever since the internet, ever since there was search engines available to us and things started to move online and we started to be able to index things. But everything has changed now that we have the ability to intelligently search through and apply filters and organize and assimilate and put out the information that we need in very specific uses. We were even talking about, the industry of church. I'll put it that way. Things are changing. Things are changing. The ability to be able to go and get information that you used to have to go and become a scholar to get. Now, I am not saying that AI replaces our own individual study. I am not saying that AI is trustworthy on all of the information that it is feeding us. I am not saying that it can replace again, discernment, especially when we're talking about biblical studies or our relationship with the Lord, or tell me the interpretation for this passage. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that AI is changing the landscape. It is drastically changing the landscape. And so many of the fields and careers and the ways that people are currently going about to gather their information are going to be obsolete in the future. They are going to be obsolete. I mean, there's so many jobs that why would I want to invest in some of these things when this isn't even a path that I see continuing? So we as parents, when we're talking about the changing landscape of homeschooling for the future, we want to be thinking not just about what things look like right now, but why would I go and have my kids spend $100,000 or however much it may be of student loans and debt that they are going to spend 10 years trying to pay off to go learn specific information that may or may not be outdated, that may or may not even be for a career or an industry that exists in 10 years when they're actually ready to use what they're ready to use. I think that when we're talking about the future of where we want our kids to land, we need to have these conversations with them. We need to talk to them about what things look like. We need to talk to them about some of these different industries and how this might impact it. I think that we need to be investing in things like the trades, things that are hands-on that cannot be replicated or replaced by a system. I think that we need to be building for things that are human, compassion, empathy, relational, those type of things aren't going to go away. But some of these industries that we are currently paying and leading our kids on a path towards, I really do see changing really, really drastically. And that is a difficult position for us as parents to be in. Okay. I really should have brought water, but I am just going to pop in to my notes quickly or not my notes, sorry, the comments, and make sure that I am not missing anything. Okay. Christina, my job is mostly creating AI summaries for patients, which is most of what I do at my job and have been doing for the past 2 years. Very, very interesting. People are going to potentially rely on AI as a gold standard for what is true and what is right. Absolutely. So, okay. I mean, where do we go from here? I got to go back. Let me switch gears again here. My argument is that homeschooling is the best way to truly be on the cutting edge for where things are going. I really do believe that, I have all grace and all compassion and all understanding for the fact that homeschooling doesn't work for everybody. Absolutely. I am not a judgmental or a critical person, but I do think that if you are able to do it, homeschooling is the best way to be cutting edge. I think people think of homeschooling as backwards. I think people think of it as being behind. I think they think of it as being kind of an old school traditional thing to do. And I would argue that overnight that has switched. I would argue that I see the school system, even the university and the college model, as being outdated. I see, information that is so rapidly changing and advancing that is no longer even necessarily relevant, that is being taught in a way that is not even really making sense or being assimilated or understood or mastered by our kids to begin with. I see that as being an outdated system building for an outdated future. And we all know that the way that government and systems and things like this work is that it is going to take them 10 years to try to catch up with where the future is going, maybe longer, maybe a whole lot longer. Meanwhile, we as independent homeschool families have the ability to pivot and change and adjust on a dime. We can see where things are going and we can move very quickly. I believe that being a homeschool family in this season, in this day, in this moment is the absolute best way to be able to be as cutting edge, as forward thinking, and as future-proof as possible, as opposed to the older, outdated, traditional mindset of education that is not going to be able to keep up with where things are going. So I just want to encourage you first and foremost that if you are concerned about where AI is going and how to prepare your kids for the future, that you are already taking the first and I think most important step by either researching, talking about, thinking about, or homeschooling your kids, because you are going to be able to pivot. You're going to be able to take your individual child and their unique strengths and their unique interests and see how things are changing and what is going to be the best fit for them, and uniquely prepare them for that as you are going, in a way that a teacher with a classroom of 30 students or multiple classrooms of multiple groups of students coming in and out every day with the restrictions of what they've been told they can or cannot teach put in front of them is never going to be able to do. They're never going to be able to do it in the way that you are going to be able to do it. So I just encourage you, first and foremost, it's easy to have a fear-based approach when it comes to AI and it comes to the future, and especially when it comes to our kids. But I just want to encourage you that we are not alone in this, okay? You are not alone in this, and that you are going to be okay, and that you actually have this unleashed ability to be able to uniquely follow where things are going in a way that somebody else doesn't. So I just really believe that. I really believe that this is a cutting edge, very futuristic and modern way of educating our children for a future that we can't really predict at this point. I also want to encourage you, I saw some of you guys talking about AI, and again, I hear a lot of people talking about it, and I told you already, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it, but I'm also not naive, I don't think, about it. I am aware of the fact that we need to be having this conversation. You and I need to have this conversation. Homeschool parents need to have this conversation. Husbands and wives need to have this conversation. Parents and children need to have this conversation. Our kids need to know and understand what AI is, how it can be used, how it can be misused, how it can be taken advantage of, how our information can be taken advantage of, how a large system that is capitalizing on everything on the internet that anyone can put on the internet is not the most reliable source, how we have to learn how to ask the right questions. These are all things that we need to be considering. These are all conversations that we need to be having. I just came up with, we're working on AI policies and standards, and what are we doing as a company? How are we using it? As a company, we use it for brainstorming or for idea generation. We do not use it to write anything that we do or to create anything that we do. That comes from ourselves. So we can use it to go search on the internet and help me find some good information or resources. And now I'm going to be the one to take that as a tool. AI is a tool. And as long as we think of it as a tool, it's going to be something that we get to use. It isn't something that we are going to be used in. But if we're not having these conversations with our kids and we're just letting them use ChatGPT willy-nilly, and they're just doing whatever they're doing and asking whatever they're asking, and they're not learning how to ask the right questions, how to discern and filter through what they're receiving, how to look for the sources of where this is coming from, the kind of things that they cannot trust it for, making sure that they're cross-referencing, give them a job of trying to find mistakes on ChatGPT. Have them ask the kind of questions where they're going to see some things come in and say, hey, I'm going to give you guys, I don't know, we're going to go for coffee. Every time you can find ChatGPT have a mistake, you may be getting a lot of coffees. But starting to train our kids to discern and learn how to use it and also how not to use it. I just think that right now we need to be focusing on how we can implement it first and foremost, and then also thinking about how it's changing the landscape of our culture and of our communities and of our jobs, and then adjusting how we are homeschooling based on what we are seeing. And I know that that seems like broad, and I know that that seems like, just give me like the answer. How can we constantly be pivoting? But you can be constantly pivoting because it's you homeschooling in your home. You have that ability. And so, I don't know, those are some of my thoughts about it. Where am I at my notes? Using AI as a tool, teaching our kids the dangers of it. The reality is, when we are thinking about our homeschools and we're thinking about preparing our kids for the future, is the last thing I feel like that we need to remember, and probably the most important thing, is that our mindset of how we view preparing, even if I could rewind it all the way to that very initial word, how can we prepare our kids? How can we homeschool for the future? So essentially, we're talking about preparing our kids for a future that we feel ill-equipped to be able to predict at this point. I feel like that puts a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility, and even can be, bear with me, a slightly humanistic mindset of education and of our role as their parents, and of what this all looks like. Because I guess in my mind, I feel like my preparation of what I pour into my kids is less about the actual skills, is less about the actual information, and it is more about the heart. It is more about their relationship with the Lord. It is more about their character. It is more about building a strong foundation, and the rest of those things will come. And I know I have mentioned these things before, and they may feel like platitudes to you, but I I have seen how God can trump anything. I have seen how, we can have the best systems and the best plans and put all the money in and go through all the proper steps of what we're told we have to do. We need 6 years of education. We need to get our master's degree. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I've seen how one person can develop something in their basement and boom, they have this fast trajectory into something totally different, that other people had to go get masters, and doctorates are just thrown at them. There's honorary doctorates and honorary degrees because schools just want to have their names tethered and associated to them. God can bypass the systems of man. And if we get too caught up in the systems of man and thinking through what do things need to look like and how do I prepare my kids? What are the 5 steps for how to prepare my kids for the future? That's changing all the time. Stay close. That's ultimately at the end of absolutely everything else, you guys. I mean, have good conversations with your kids. You're homeschooling your kids. Pay attention. Look for the signs of their interests and their strengths and their gifts, and follow those things and see where things are moving. Those are all good things, great things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if you are staying close and you are tethered and you are following and walking in step with the Holy Spirit, if you are listening to his voice, if you are getting down on your knees and you are praying for your kids and you are praying for your homeschool and you are praying for their future and you are asking the Lord to bypass the systems of man and to position your kids. It says that a man plants his step, but it's the Lord who establishes them. I just encourage you that the Lord is the one who is going to establish the footsteps of your children. He is the one who goes behind and he goes before us and he prepares a way before us. And so I just encourage you that anything that you're thinking in this limited mindset, to even shift your mindset to, I would argue, more of a kingdom perspective, that we aren't serving the systems of man, but we are serving a God who is so much bigger than it, who sees the entire picture. He knows today and he knows tomorrow. He knows where your kids are going to be and he knows how they need to be prepared. And the things that feel minimalistic, or the things that feel small, or the things that feel mundane, or the things that feel just every single day in your life, whether it is training your kids how to cook or whether it's teaching them how to do their chores that you may think are not big enough or important enough and you need to get on your lesson, that God can use each and every one of those things in the lives of your children. The world is going to argue me. I know the world is going to argue me. It is God's grace that we are hidden on social media. I will say this right now. I believe this with all my heart, because one day, if some of these videos and some of the things that I said got out to the wrong people, you guys, we would be just crucified online, all right, for some of these things that we are saying, because the world will disagree with me. I would say even the Christian world, a large percentage of our entire population of the world will disagree with me and say you put no value or no emphasis on education. You just, everything's just going to work out if you are a follower of Jesus. When your mind and heart is fixed on him, when you are focusing on what he says first before anything else, when you are pouring and praying for and investing in the lives of your children, when you are focusing on the things that truly matter, when you are seeking his kingdom first, I do believe, and I have seen, and I can say to you with confidence, that all these things will be added. Reading is important. Invest in it. Be committed to it. Writing is important. Invest in it. Be committed to it. Do your math lessons. Do your homeschooling. But you guys, don't get so caught up in those things and the systems of man that you are forgetting the greatness of God and how much bigger he is in the midst of all of it. So I just speak over each and every one of you right now. If your mindset needs to be expanded, if you need to think a little bit larger, if you need to get a little bit more out of the box, if you need to be thinking of the future of the lives of your children, not through your own mindset, not through the brokenness of our world and the hopelessness that you see around you, even the negativity right now, if you need to see it through the mindset of God, who is hope and who has a plan. He has a hope and a future for your children. If you need to see that right now, I just speak over you that your spiritual eyes will be open, that you would be able to see that greater is he that is in you than he that is in this world, that you would be encouraged in the life of your homeschool, that you would be encouraged in the life of your marriage, that you would be encouraged in the life of your children, that even the mistakes that you feel that you are making, that God can redeem everything. He can redeem time. He can redeem conversations. He can redeem lost moments. He can redeem mistakes, and he can use them for his glory. And so I just speak it over you guys. You guys take it and receive it and hold on to it, and don't let the enemy take it away, because he wants to take all the encouragement that we feel and he wants to rip it out, and he wants to fill it up with hopelessness and discouragement and shame and with guilt. And I just say to you, stay the course. Stay the course. Be encouraged. Hold on to hope. Remind yourself why you are doing this. Get on your knees when you're battling. Get on your knees when you're struggling. Remember what truly matters and what's truly important. And all of these things, they're going to be added, and your kids are going to be okay. And God is going to hold them in his hand. I speak that over every one of you, that God is going to hold your kids in the palm of his hand, and that he is going to care for them better than you could ever have even asked for, better than you could even do yourself, and that he is going to go behind and before them, and he is raising up a generation, you guys. What you're doing, what you are investing in, you are a part of raising up a generation that is going to change things in this world. We need the church to arise. We need the bride to arise. We need authenticity. We need revival. We need a new move of God. And I believe that if I'm going to pour into my kids that they could go get a good job as a software engineer that makes a lot of money, or I could pour into my kids the heart of the Father and revival fire and a passion for his name and a hunger and an authenticity, that my kids are going to be able to go farther, that they're going to be able to do more, and that they're going to be able to invest in the things that truly matter. Hay and stubble, it's all going to fall, but there is a foundation that truly lasts, and that's when we're building our foundation on him. So, I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, now we could talk about foundations, you guys. Whew. But I'm not. I'm going to scale it down because I'm getting really, really preachy. I can feel that I'm getting really, really preachy. Okay. So anyways, I hope that was an encouragement to you guys. I hope that it gives you a little bit of my mouth is moving faster than my brain, a perspective shift. And yeah, just that we would see things differently for our homeschools and when we're thinking of education. I'm really passionate about it. Can you tell? All right, I'm going to open up comments for a second. I'm going to scroll through. I haven't even been looking. Forgive me. I know I said I would interact, and here we are. I'm not even interacting. Do we plan on releasing a computer science? Okay, so I have thought about this. Computer safety, internet safety, online safety, all of the things. I would love to. I just don't want to write it. So it's on my it's on my list. I have a list of units I would like to do, but I'm not quite there yet. But I do think that this is becoming more and more critical. I mean, even in our own team, even as we're talking about it, I feel like it is critical right now to have these conversations and to have these conversations with our kids. If they're ever using these things, they need to know. They need to understand. They need to know what they can use and what they can't use. But yeah, okay. I'm going to see if there is any other questions. How to do research, how to discern what's a good source. We did in our dinosaurs unit, which I know you wouldn't expect in dinosaurs, but dinosaurs is actually a history unit that has I would say 50% of it is apologetics. So, and then our notebooking page, we did something really different, and we actually taught them how to take good notes and how to identify sources and how to make sure that what they were taking notes on or what they are researching, that they are putting those in there accurately. And so that's a good starting place I would put in there. It's also a great starting place for what I'm talking about today, building a good foundation and investing in the things that truly matter. Dinosaurs is an incredible unit. And we even have my own kids who did like a little story-based thing, Aaliyah and Caleb. It was so cute. It was years ago. They can't stand to listen to it. But it was a lot of fun. So I would recommend starting off there and at least building the foundation of information and to be thinking about where information is coming from. Because even taking notes and writing down our sources of those things, I mean, in this day and age, who's even doing that? Who's even doing that? I mean, I remember back in the day when blogging was first starting off and when influencers were first starting and people would, say something, there was this deep offense or hurt where it's like, I said that and you didn't credit me, or you didn't say that I was the one, or you didn't like send people to my site for that, or whatever it may be. And I mean, those are all still great and good things, but I feel like all of that has gone out the window because information is moving so fast. No one can even stay on top of who's saying what and where things are being posted and where things are being linked. So there is just this, like, I think our kids even, it's so easy to go online, take what we see and think it's true. And so just even the practice of doing that and trying to see, where is this coming from? Even asking the question, where is this coming from, is such a valuable skill. Start there. And then from there, we can build on discernment and asking good questions and making sure that we're rooting out what is true and what isn't true. And I mean, I even teach my kids, and even for myself, if I ever use ChatGPT for brainstorming or for ideas, even if it gives a verse, I still will go and find that verse in my Bible because I don't actually trust what it's putting in there. I'm never going to use it as my source for gathering the word of God, even though it's copying and pasting it. So I don't know, just things like that of like, these are the lines and the boundaries of where we're going to draw from, is that the word of God comes from the word of God, or whatever. Those are all valuable conversations to be having. So yeah. Okay. There's so many things. I think those are my main things that I wanted to talk about today. I didn't have a huge agenda. I am thinking of having a little bit more of a conversation, having a targeted talking point that we can go off of and maybe talking about that. I'm also, for those of you who are finding us on YouTube, we're thinking of adjusting our strategy a little bit. We're noticing that social media is dying. And quite frankly, I'm just really not interested in entertaining people. I'm really not. I feel like a lot of social media reels, it's built for entertainment. It's not built for knowledge. People aren't going there to learn. They're not going there to really be encouraged. You're going there to be entertained. And so I just don't even know how much I want to invest on social media. If we ever mention God, I mean, so much of this stuff, if we ever mention God, if we ever mention the Bible, if we ever mention the word Christian, all of our reach tanks, we are limited on where we're shown. It's just become so filtered down that we are seeing an absolute death on social media. And so I feel like I'm at the point where I want to invest. And I'm not saying that maybe YouTube is doing all the same things, but I'm thinking of investing over in YouTube more. So having actually pre-recorded conversations that are a little bit less rambly, because I can ramble, a little bit more targeted, and then parsing those out and posting them on social media, but switching our strategy a bit. So you guys may see more of that. You also, if you are not on our app is really the only thing that we own and our way of being able to make sure that you're going to see the content that we put out, because we are putting content out all the time on social media, but where we used to get thousands and thousands of people seeing them, or even hundreds of thousands of people seeing them, it's like the tap is closed. And I'm okay with that. I really am, because I remind myself all the time that the kind of stuff that we talk about and the places that we go, and even our conversations, that this is the kind of stuff that I don't really want all the negativity and all of the negative press and attention at this point. And so I just take it as a covering and as a protection from the Lord. But if you are not seeing our content, if you feel like you are missing things, the app is where you're guaranteed to get it. You're going to get a notification on your phone. A live is going to pop up. It's not going to be filtered through by an algorithm out there. So just so you guys are aware of where content is being posted, and that we're kind of switching gears a little bit in our strategy and our approach. And that's all I have. I feel fine with that. I feel good. I feel like we had a great conversation. Okay. All right, perfect. Well, I'm going to wrap this up then and go work on the 8 million other things that I have to do, and it's a lot. But thank you so much for coming, for joining, for tuning in. I know that it's a lot. I know that listening to me ramble sometimes and get through all my news and points and comments, and I know it's a lot. So I appreciate it for each and every one of you. We're all busy people. And I just, pray encouragement and blessing over each and every one of you. And I don't know about you, but I have been feeling, and this is myself, but I have been feeling really discouraged lately. I have definitely been feeling attacked, specifically in the area of parenting, specifically, like when I go to bed at night with like shame and guilt and regret, like just realizing that I feel like it's all coming to an end. All my parenting, I'm gonna get emotional just talking about it. My kids are growing up, and my third one just got his license, and I just know that in a moment, everything in our life is going to change, and I can't do it over. And I look at all your guys' pictures and videos of your little kids, and I miss it. I miss it so much. And I just, that's what the enemy does, is that he comes and he just reminds you of the things you could have, would have, should have. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live in regret. I don't want to live looking back like Lot's wife. I want to live looking forward. And I was reminding our kids in the academy today that there's lessons we can learn from history. And sometimes it's too painful for me to even look back, because the lessons to be learned from it are just hard. It's just difficult to look back. But every once in a while, I have to remind myself, and I have to give myself the opportunity to do that. But the enemy just seems to be targeting right now. And maybe it is just me, and maybe it's not. Maybe you've been feeling this way too. Maybe you've been feeling attacked with guilt or shame or regret, or just even sadness over what is ending, when there's so much goodness yet ahead of us. And for anyone that is feeling a little bit hopeless right now, that maybe your season is ending and you're just sad to see doors closing, I just speak over you and over me and over every one of us that doors are going to be opened in the name of Jesus, that God is going to make a way where there seems to be no way, that he is going to open up doors in the lives of us, in the lives of our children. For some of you that are just struggling and longing for friendship and for connection and for community, I just speak over you that God is doing a new thing. He is doing a new thing, and he is raising up people who are hungry for authentic and real relationship and connection. And so I just speak it over us. I speak it over our children, and I just rebuke shame and guilt off of all of us parents in the name of Jesus, and that we would be full of hope for what God has for the future and for this year and for this Christmas and for our homeschools and for our families. Okay, that's all. All right, guys, I'm going to end this, and I will see you again. I think next week. I think I'll go live next week. But I'm going to wrap it up because we could just go forever. But blessings on each of you, blessings on your families, and we will talk to you soon. How do I close this?